Welcome to Module 3, Lesson 19, where we are going to talk about multiplying by 10. So I'll keep this pretty short because this is actually a topic we've talked a lot about, and you guys are pretty familiar with how to do this. But I'll reintroduce it, we'll review it, and I'll explain how it's going to be used here in this lesson. So I'll show you some of the diagrams that are going to be used, some of the tools that are going to be used to teach it. I'll also show you how we're going to use this strategy of multiplying by tens along with the distributive property to do some word problems. So again, I'll keep it pretty short because I don't think we need to go over it too much because we have a lot of experience, but there are a few key points to touch on before I send you off to work independently. So let's take a look at our whiteboard here. The first way that you're going to see this presented to you is in like an array. Now this goes back to basically the first lessons that we did this year. So I'm going to make an array here, and each x is going to be 1 in this case. So I'll have a 4 by 3 array there. So and I'll write each x equals 1. So I have 4 rows times 3 ones. So there's 4 rows and there are 3 ones in each row. So there are 12 ones altogether. That one's straightforward. That goes back to the very beginning of 3rd grade. We've done that literally hundreds of times this year. Now let's take a look at what we're going to do today with multiplying by tens. I'm going to draw the same array, but this time, you notice I'm doing it in a different color. This time, each x is going to be worth 10. So each x equals 10 this time. So this time I have 4 rows times 3 tens. So this is really showing 4 times 30, right? If I combine everything in that row, it's 10, 20, 30. So it's 30 there, 30 there, 30 there, 30 there. I have 4 groups of 30. So if I do 4 rows of 3 tens, then I end up with 12 tens, right? Well, 12 tens is 120, right? So the other way to think of this, and the reason I know that is 12 times 10, and we've done this a lot. We take this factor, the 12, and we put it over there as part of our product. And then we take the 0 off of the 10, or from the 10, and add it to the back of the 12 to make 120. But there's another way I could solve this too, and that is by using a distributive property. I could have said, well, 30 is really like 3 times 10, right? Times 4. So originally, I had my parentheses around the 3 and the 10 to make 30, but I can shift those, as we've been doing here, to make 12 times 10. And 12 times 10, as we just solved, is 120. So that's some work that you're going to see today as well. That strategy I just used is particularly helpful when we get into the word problems. So the other way you're going to see this presented is in a, in like a place value chart. So you'll have your tens and ones. And so I'll have, 5 times 4. So I have that one, and I'm going to draw the same thing in red over here, just with, it's going to be on the 10 side. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a moment. So again, 5 rows of 4, but again, this time it's in the tens column. Okay, so let's solve here. On this side, I have 5 rows times 4 ones. And the reason for that is there's 5 rows of 4 ones. See my 4 ones right there? That's where the 4 ones come from, that there's 4 ones in each row. And we know, we've done this problem enough times, that equals 20 in total. Now when I go over here, I have 5 rows times 4 tens. Right? There are 4 tens in each row, which is the same as saying 5 groups of 40. So really, I'm solving 5 groups of 40. Well, we know 5 rows of 4 tens, just like 5 times 4 over here, is 20 tens. So 20 times 10, we take the 20, we make that the first portion of our product. We take the 0 off the 10 and we add it to the back, and we end up with an answer of 200. Another way we can solve that would be to use our distributive property, and we're going to say 5 times, and I'm going to make this 4 times 10, because 40 is really 4 times 10. And then I can use the distributive property to do the 5 times 4 first and get 20 times 10, and we've already solved that up there, that it equals 200. So that's the other way that you're going to see this presented to you today. Let's go through a couple of quick sort of activities here, and then I'll show you a word problem. So you're going to see this on the second page of your problem set. I think you probably also see it in the exit ticket as well. So we might have 3 times 6 equals 18, and then it might say 3 times 60 equals 180. So notice the only difference here is that you have 60 instead of 6. And so because you've multiplied the 60 by 10, you end up multiplying your answer by 10 too. So like 18 becomes 180. That's 10 times bigger. 180 is 10 times bigger than 18. 2 times 2 equals 4, but 2 times 20 equals 40. Notice the difference here being that 2 and that 20. The 20 is the same as a 2 times 10. So you end up with 2 times 2 is 4 times 10 equals 40. That distributive property is our friend. We use that a lot. And one more here. Let's do 9 times 7 equals 63. 90 times 7 equals 630. Well, why is that, Mr. Brunel? Because I can turn that 90 into a 10 times a 9 times 7. If I group the 9 and the 7 together first, I get 63 times 10, which is 630. And again, to review why, let's over here, I'll pull it off to the side. 63 times 10. Well, I take my 63 and I make that the first portion of my product, and then I take that 0 from the 10 and put it behind the 63 to turn that into a 630. All right, let's do one word problem, and then I will let you go and work independently. I believe the exit ticket uses a plane, so let's use the plane here in this one too. A plane has 30 rows with 3 seats in each row. No, let's make it 6 seats in each row. How many seats are on the plane? And then how many seats are on 3 planes? So that second part is like once we've solved the first part, we're going to multiply it by 3 or add it 3 times. But let's worry about the second part in a minute. Let's do the first part first. Do things in order here. So really I have 30 times 6. Right, I have 30 rows, and each one has 6 seats. So 30 times 6. Well, the way that I solve that is I'm going to use the distributive property. I'm going to turn this 30. I'm going to say that that's really like 10 times 3. Right, I had 10 times 3 there. But I'm going to take the parentheses off that, and I'm going to shift them around the 3 times the 6. Okay, and let's see, now I am going to take 3 times 6. I keep saying distributive property. I mean associative property. I'm sorry, guys. The associative property, multiplication. So now I have 3 times 6 is 18 times 10, which is 180. Okay, so 30 times 6 is 180. And again, the reason I figured that out is because I shifted my parentheses off the 3 times the 10 and onto the 3 times the 6. Because again, when you're multiplying, you can do it in any order. So now I have 180 seats on one plane, but I need to know how many seats are on 3 planes. So I have 180 on my first plane, I have 180 on my second plane, I have 180 on my third plane. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 times 3 is 24. So I put my 4 in the tens place, carry my 2 into the hundreds place. 2, 3, 4, 5. 540 seats on 3 planes. And that's how you go about solving that too. Some of you might want to challenge yourself and try 3 times 180. That's perfectly fine. That can involve the distributive property and the associative property, if you would like. So you could turn this 180. You could turn that into 18 times 10, and then you could even break the 18 down further into other numbers. If you're up for that challenge, you want to go for it, then by all means try it, because this would become like 3 times 18, and you could do it that way. That's a challenge if you want to do it that way. Again, if you're up for it and you're looking for a challenge today, for sure, go ahead and try it. But I'm also content if you want to do the addition, the repeated addition for this. So I apologize for calling this distributive property all along. I meant associative property. Forgive me there. Even teachers get their terms confused once in a while, especially when we're using all of them often in class. I hope that you guys have taken that skill that we already have, that ability to multiply by tens, and you're now able to apply it even more broadly, and especially apply it to word problems. Keep working hard and let me know if you have any questions.